Okay, so let's take a look at how you can get leads using SOQL query. So SOQL query is basically Salesforce object query language. So what we will do is we will use that to get some data from leads. Okay, so open Salesforce dashboard account and then go to setup menu and then click on developer console. That should open developer console that looks something like this. Okay, so here what we will do is we will type in select ID, then name, then phone, then company, okay, from lead. Okay, so the data that we are fetching is from lead. Okay, so if we execute, it should return data specifically from lead accounts. Okay, so these are some of the lead accounts that I have through demo data. Okay, so as you can see, name, phone and specific companies are listed here. These are all leads that are added into my account. Okay, so if you want to fetch this from, let's say, contacts, so you just replace it with contact. Okay, similarly replace with lead and also for account. So you get the idea how to fetch a particular set of data using SOQL query. So in this context we are fetching leads data with SOQL query. So let's take a look at how you can use SOQL query to get all the object name available. So what we're going to do is we log into Salesforce developer dashboard and then go to developer console. Okay, now in another window here you can see query editor where I wish to write SOQL query. So I'm going to use select. Okay, after this keyword we will add some space and then we type in qualified API names or name. Okay, because we are getting one object at a time. Then from entity definition order by qualified API name. Okay, and we will simply execute the query, and here you see we will get total 546 objects in the return. That will show you account, name, change event, relation and various other objects. Okay, so you will find total 546 row to go through. So you can export this data and read through Excel if you want. Okay, so you get the idea how to use SOQL query to get all the object names. So let's take a look at how you can get account data with SOQL query in Salesforce developer console. So what we're going to do is log into Salesforce developer and click on setup menu and then open developer console. Now next thing would be to open developer console and check the query editor. Okay, now here what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some account data by typing in query select, then ID, name, phone from account. Okay, now to execute this we click on this bottom button. Okay, and that should load the data. Now here you see you have name of the account, ID and also the phone from list of accounts. Okay, similarly you can also fetch additional information if you know or wish to fetch from this query. Okay, so you get the idea how to get account data with SOQL query in Salesforce. Okay, so let's take a look at how to use not like operator in Apex, and for that we will open our Salesforce developer account, then go to setup menu, open developer console. Okay, while it's loading let me explain how I want to write a code in Apex. So basically I'm going to check for an account name that is not like another name. Okay, so we want to exclude a particular name and want to display any other name than that. Then in such case we make use of not like. So basically that keyword not, then space with something for which we are searching, and then like. Okay, and after like we will specify what that we are supposed to skip. Okay, so let's open developer console. Now that our console is loaded, what we'll do is we will basically check our query editor. Okay, if you have any code, simply remove that. Now here you see we type in SOQL query, and we will type in select name from, let's say, account where not name. Okay, like, and here we have to specify what that name would be, so we are skipping that name from our search. Okay, so this SOQL query will basically avoid that account. So test account we wish to skip, so let's take a look at that. So here you see we have various names here in accounts which does not have test result. Okay, so this is the result that we get, total 13 rows of data. Okay, so you get the idea how to use not like operator in your SOQL query in Apex. Okay, so that explains how to run that code. Okay, so let's take a look at how to use AND operator in SOQL query. So what we're going to do is we are going to log into Salesforce dashboard, then we will open, okay, then we go to setup menu, then click on developer console. Okay, now here we already have one developer console open, so in query editor we are going to write query for AND operator. So okay, in query editor what we will do is we'll type in ID, then name from contact where phone is not equal to null and email is also not equal to null, and then execute. Okay, and you get the results for the query. So here we are using AND operator and choosing between phone is not equal to null and email is not equal to null. So based on that decision, rest of the query will be executed. So let's take a look at how you can write SOQL query with ascending keyword for sorting your result set. So what we're going to do is log into the developer dashboard, then click on setup menu to open developer console. Next would be in developer console we click on query tab. Okay, so this query editor tab we will use to write our query. Select ID, name, phone from contact where phone is not equals to null, and order by, we want to order by name. Okay, you can use ASC as the keyword at the end for ascending in your alphabetical order. Okay, then click execute. Okay, and here you get the result set where you get ascending order for your names, okay, along with the phone numbers that you requested from contact. Okay, so you get the idea how to use ascending keyword to sort your result set when you run your SOQL query. Okay, so let's take a look at SOQL query where we can check for active members within organization and also active user from a particular department within our Salesforce organization. So what we'll do is we will open developer dashboard, then open developer console. Now here I wish to go into query editor where I can type in select, then ID, then name from user. Now where I need to find out is active, set to true, and user permissions marketing user is set to true. Okay, So for this and also for is active, both flag needs to set to true. That should get our query answered. So here you see only one user, that is me, satisfies this query. So you get the idea how many active users are there within your organization. So if you have real data or you have scratch data, then based on that results will be in the output. Okay, so let's take a look at how you can use descendant keyword for sorting result set in SOQL query. So what we can do is log into Salesforce developer dashboard, then open your developer console. Okay, now next thing would be to in developer console we click on this query editor, and here we type in select ID, name, phone from contact. Okay, and here we want to specify where keyword, and then phone is not equals to null. Now we are going to order by name, but we want descending order. Okay, so from Z to A. Okay, so we will execute the query and we will see how it comes out. So there is no Z related name here, so it starts from T, S all the way back to the A. So you get the idea how you can use descendant keyword to alphabetically sort. In this context it is alphabetically sorted. If it's pure numbers, then based on that it will be sorted. Okay, so you get the idea how to use descendant keyword in your SOQL query. So let's take a look at SOQL query where we make use of downwards traversal. So basically downward traversal is when you are pulling record for a related list and you are pulling related data from nested query of account data. Okay, so we'll take a look at what it means. So let's open developer console from our setup menu. Okay, now here what I think we can do is open query editor and type in query, select ID, name, industry, and let's have our query for name, email from contacts. So this is nested query that will fetch the details from account. Okay, this is perfect example for downward traversal where you're going from a related list, and for that we are forming one nested query within our SOQL query. Okay, also it's contacts, so we will correct that, and here you get the result for your traversal query. Okay, so you get the idea how to use SOQL downward traversal query in Salesforce Dev Console. So let's take a look at how you can fetch recurring task information using SOQL query in Salesforce Developer. So we log into Salesforce Developer account and then open this Developer Console option. Okay, so first thing that we are going to do is we are going to check query editor within Developer Console. Okay, now that our workspace is loaded, what we will do is let me bring this up at the top and then write SOQL query, which is select ID and then subject, then is recurrence from task, where is recurrence is equal to true. Okay, when we execute this, it should show us the recurring tasks. In my case there are none, so it won't return any errors, but if you have added any form of task, then it will be listed here which are recurring one. So you get the idea how to use SOQL query to fetch recurring tasks. Okay, so let's take a look at how you can use SOQL query to find user login history. Okay, so we will open Salesforce dashboard account, then open developer console. After that, what we will do is we will open our query editor from this bottom tab. Now here I have to write the query, select ID, login time, then user ID from login history. So login history, order by login time. Okay, and then this is descending, limit is, let's say, 10. Okay, now if I execute this, it should show me the log of last 10 login entry history. Okay, it shows 2021 31, so 31st January 2020, and all the login done by the user. Okay, so total 10 are displayed because I have set the limit to 10. You can go beyond that for displaying login history. So let's take a look at how you can write SOQL query to find users with edit event permission. So let's say you have a particular event within your organization for which some users have access for editing that event details and venue and timing, date, etc. So we want to find out which users have the edit event permissions, and we will write a query in our developer console. So open developer console from setup menu, then when it opens, go for query editor tab. Okay, you can find it in the bottom side of panel. Okay, now here we will type in select name, then permissions, edit event from profile, where permissions edit event equals to true. Okay, so execute and find out list of the profiles that are allowed to edit the event. Okay, admin, platform user, work.com only user, etc., and rest of the other users which are allowed to edit the event will be listed, and in my case it results in 13 rows. Okay, so you can find it out for your organization. Okay, so let's take a look at how you can write SOQL query in Salesforce developer console to fetch recurring event. So what we're going to do is log into Salesforce developer account and then open developer console. Once open, what we'll do is we will basically open query editor tab and then type in our query, select ID, subject is a recurrence from event where is recurrence equals to true. Okay, now we will execute this, and if any event in your system is recurring, it will be displayed here. Considering I don't have any events listed, it will return 0. So you get the idea how to fetch recurring events in your account using SOQL query. Okay, so let's take a look at how you can write a query to find dynamic dashboard related data, and for that we will open developer console, and once you open that, in query editor we are going to write our code. So first thing we will do is write a select keyword, then we will select ID, folder name, title. These three things I want to fetch from dashboard. Okay, so if the user has logged in, created a dashboard, and also if that user, so we will use OR operator from my team user. So let's say from dashboard, where type of that user would be logged in user, or type equals to my team user. Okay, now we are going to click on execute, and here you see ID, folder name and title. Currently for me as there are no dashboards, this should result in 0 actually, but in your case it should return with some of the value if that satisfies the logged in user and my team user type. Okay, so if you have created a dashboard, then that sort of result will be here listed. So you get the idea how to get dynamic dashboard related data using SOQL query. So let's take a look at how you can get user details along with user license using SOQL query. So basically, Sales Object Query Language SOQL allows you to run SQL type of queries. In this case, we want to get user details along with its license. So what we'll do is we will open developer console, and here you see, okay, query editor. So we wish to run our query here, so we type in select keyword, then ID, then name, then profile dot user name, or sorry, user license, because that's what we want, license dot name. So what it will do basically is it will take these two fields from user, okay, and output that in table. Okay, so we'll take a look at that. So here you see few users that are returned with this query. Okay, these are the default ones, and the user license is not mentioned here for some reason, but I'm guessing that is because of security reasons, or they are masked objects that we have to convert into a string or so to make them visible. But you get an idea that for other standard organization where these defaults are not listed and you have actual members who own certain license for Salesforce services, those will be listed here. So considering these are the bots, basically automation process, integration, security, chatter, these will be available as object in license field. So you get the idea how to get user details along with user license with the SOQL query. So let's take a look at how you can write SOQL query that limits your result set to a particular value. So for that we will use basically limit keyword. So let's open developer console from setup menu to see how it works. So in query editor, I'm going to write the query, select ID, then name and phone, okay, from contact, okay, where phone is not equals to null. Then we are going to use a limit keyword to limit the result set to 5. You can choose 10 or higher, but I'm going to choose something smaller. Then if we execute this query, we will get the result set where it is limited to 5 values only, okay, 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, if you change this number to let's say 8, that will increase this output to 8 results. So you get the idea how to use limit keyword to limit your result set when you run your select query in Salesforce developer. Okay, so let's take a look at how you can use OR operator in SOQL query. So what we do is log into Salesforce dashboard, then we go to setup menu and open developer console. Okay, once to open, you can click on query editor tab and write in your query, select, then ID, name from contact, okay, where the condition would be that phone not equals to null or email not equals to null. Based on this logical decision, it will output the content. Okay, so as you can see, these are the result where you will find either phone not equal to null or email not equal to null would result in the ID and name from the contact. Okay, so you get the idea how the logical OR can be used in your query, SOQL query. Okay, so let's take a look at SOQL query in Salesforce developer, where we are finding user with edit task permissions. So when you have a particular set of tasks which are only few or specific profiles are allowed to edit, we want to get the list of those profile names. Okay, so what we will do is we will basically open developer console. Okay, that should look something like this. Then in query editor, I'm going to write my query, select name, permissions, edit, task, from profile, where permission edit, actually edit task sets to true. Okay, now if I execute this, that should give me a table, but here there is an error, no such column permission edit task on entity profile. Okay, so we have to check. Okay, so here you see permission edit task. Okay, so should be S. Okay, so here I made a mistake of just typing permission, and it should be permissions, then list of names, and permission edit task came out. So you get the idea how to write a query to find a user with edit task permissions. So let's take a look at SOQL query, where we can get matrix of Visualforce pages. So when we create a Visualforce page and let the customer or any other outside or external user access those pages, there are some of the data that will be stored for that particular application made within Visualforce page. So we'll try to get some of that data. Okay, currently I don't have any page, but we will still try to access at least 0th value of that. Okay, so we open developer console from setup menu. After that, we will go to query editor, and here I wish to write a query, select, then apex page ID, then apex page dot name, then daily page view count. Okay, then capital M matrix date, log date. Okay, so you can check out within query our first table column would be apex page ID, then apex page dot name, then third column would be daily page view count, then fourth matrix date, then log date. Okay, and all of that from Visualforce access metrics. Okay, and we order that by apex page dot name. Okay, and we will run this query. Hopefully there are no errors in this query. And here you see I have few of the pages in past for which the log has been accessed. Okay, as you can see 22, 25, 24 and 23, those are the dates when the page was accessed, and it kept the log of daily page view count on those pages. Okay, right, so you got all your columns with that specific data along with apex page ID, page name as well. Okay, so you get the idea where the hits occurred on those pages. Okay, so this was the query for getting metrics for Visualforce pages that we created. Okay, so let's take a look at how you can get owner of a particular task by its name. So we will open developer console, and here we have our query editor. Now here let's type in select, and then we will type in owner.name. So we want owner of a particular task with his name. So from task, okay, and if we execute this, it should return us the owner name. Okay, currently I have 2 tasks both with my name here. So here you see those are returned in 2 rows. Okay, only the owner name will be resulted back. Okay, you can get other data as well if you want, but currently our specific query is for getting the owner of that particular task by name using our SOQL query. Okay, so let's take a look at how you can get records based on particular date. So in this case you will be getting dates based on your week. So we will go with today and yesterday as keywords. Okay, so what we'll do is we will open developer console and run our queries in query editor. So basically what we will do is we will type in select keyword, and in ID name, okay, these are the 2 that I wish to fetch from account, and where we have a condition that created date should be today. Okay, so currently I didn't created any records that has any particular relevance today. My recorded data is like 2 or 3 weeks back, so it should not return any values for me. But in your case, if you have any data that you have added within the account today, so it should be visible with this query. Okay, now here you see in my case it says total rows 0. That's because I don't have any particular data. However, if you are adding any data, say yesterday or any particular date of the week, then that should be visible within these set of results. Okay, so you can replace this with a keyword yesterday, and that should be also visible. Okay, in my case it won't be because I have added that data like few weeks back. So for today and yesterday that data won't be present. Okay, but in your case you may get some data here. So you get the idea how to get record based on a date of particular week from SOQL query. Okay, so let's take a look at how you can write a query to get user permissions from profile. So we will write this query in SOQL. So we open Salesforce developer dashboard and click on setup menu and open developer console. So here I wish to open this developer console, then query editor. Okay, in query editor our query would be to use select name permission view. Okay, so this is permissions view, then it should be for all users, permissions view all users, then permissions view event log files. Okay, so we are going through these 2 from profiles. Okay, and then we will execute this query. Hopefully there are no errors I made here. So okay, there is one error. So profiles is not supported, so it should be profile. Okay, so I made that error, and then let's execute again. Okay, then comes permission. Okay, again typo. I have to clear some of the errors. Okay, permissions view event log files. Okay, so let's execute that, and here you see the output that it shows is a list of the users and what sort of permissions are given to that set of users. So chatter free user, system admin, analytics user, what type of permission values they have. Permissions view all users, view event log files, true and false. So here, based on the type of user in your organization, they will have some permissions to view other users and event data, but not all. Okay, so depending on the level of that user profile, they will get specific set of permissions, and this query basically shows you that table. Okay, so we will take a look at how to run SOQL query to find out user license and user data. Okay, so basically that should output user with Salesforce user limits and its license. Okay, so what we'll do for that is we will log into Salesforce developer dashboard, then go to setup menu like this engine icon, and then click on developer console. That should open window like this. Okay, now here I'm going to open query editor tab and write our query. So it starts with select keyword, then we choose ID, then name, from, then we will use user. Now here we have to use where we have to mention profile dot user license dot name. Okay, and here we have to specify Salesforce. Sorry for the typo. And now I'm gonna hit enter, execute. That should execute our query, and as you can see, it only returns with one such user with Salesforce user license, which is me. Okay, so you get the idea how to use a query to get the user with Salesforce user license. Okay, so let's take a look at SOQL query that is being used for upward traversal. So it is used when there is a lookup, or let's say master detail is being accessed from base object. So you go from base object to the child object, so we call it upward traversal. So to show you how that works, let's open developer console. Okay, that opens in new window for me. If you are using Salesforce Analytics Studio, it will be open in another tab instead of new window. Okay, so let's wait for query editor to show up, where we are going to write our SOQL query. Now what we're going to do is we're going to basically fetch details like, let's say, ID, account name, account industry, account website from contact. Okay, so these are the details fetched from contact. So we go from base object to the child to parent. So that sort of relationship goes to show you how upward traversal works. So in query editor, we type in select ID, account dot name, account dot industry, and account dot website from contact, where let's say have some condition, account dot number of employee, number of employees is greater than, some space, greater than equal to, let's say 10, and execute this. Okay, and you will have a bunch of result for that query. But notice the query, we are fetching the details from contact towards the child, so base object to the child object. Okay, so you get the idea how to use upwards traversal query in query editor. Okay, so let's take a look at how you can use SOQL query to find IDs of specific records. So what we're going to do is we will use Salesforce object search language query to find first name search, then first name last name search, and also for first name last name in all the fields within, let's say, lead or contact or account. Okay, so for this example, we will take a look at the lead part actually and use both first name, last name, and even in phone number specific records. So let's open Salesforce dashboard and then click on setup and click on developer console. Now that should open developer console here. Okay, and now in developer console we have this query editor where we wish to use our SOQL query. So it starts with keyword find, and within curly bracket you can use any specific name that you have or wish to search. So if I use this find query, within curly bracket I use that specific word I wish to find, it should show me the contact specific to that, and it should return ID field. Okay, it won't return everything related to that name or last name, only the ID specified will be returned. Okay, so similarly I can also use last name. Okay, so first name, last name should result in similar ID field. Okay, in both the cases you will get contact ID. Okay, now similarly I can also use query. So in name fields, returning lead. Okay, and for lead I can mention name and phone. So we'll see if there is any specific user account or user within lead with that first name and last name. Okay, so it has specified that malform search token. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so it should be within square bracket, I assume. Okay, so there isn't any specific with that lead. Rest of the query is okay, but this name is not within lead but within accounts. Okay, so you get the idea how to run SOQL query to find IDs of specific records that starts from first name, last name, and also within particular record like lead, account, or contacts. So let's take a look at how you can use SOQL query to find phone number from your account. So what we will do is we will open developer console from setup menu, and it should look something like this, and within query editor we are going to type our SOQL query. So SOQL query is Salesforce object search language query. So first thing would be to type in our keyword find. Okay, now within these curly brackets we will add the keyword that we wish to search. Then we use in all fields returning, okay, account, and also we have to specify what data we want, and we don't want everything from within account. So we'll simply use name and phone, and what particular name or surname we wish to find. So let's say I wish to find surname Smith. Okay, in all fields returning account, and that needs to be name and phone, not ID. So let's execute that, and here you see name and phone for that particular account. So you get the idea how to use SOQL query, also known as Salesforce object search language query, okay, to find our particular phone number of that person based on its last name or first name. Okay, so let's take a look at how you can use object search language query to find particular word occurrence in account and contacts. So what we're going to basically do is we log into Salesforce dashboard and click on setup button and open developer console. So in developer console what we will do is we will check for query editor, and we will write our query to find a particular word. Let's say I have one account with word United in it, and I wish to fetch those details from contact and account. So my query would be keyword find, and then within curly bracket I'm going to write the particular word that I wish to check for the occurrence, in all fields returning account. So in account I'm specifically looking for name, and in contact, so in contact I'm looking for first name, last name, and department. Okay, so that's the simple query that I wish to execute. And to execute the query, I'm going to click on the button this execute, and it should appear within these results. So I have like two results here: account that shows these account name United Oil and Gas Singapore UK, Corp and Arizona. Okay, and also at the bottom you see Express Logistic and Transport, that also contains the word United in some form. Okay, so it will fetch all those accounts along with the contacts. So here see the people associated with that contact are listed here with first name, last name, and department. Okay, so there is the finance, administration, warehouse, and other department as well. Okay, so there are total 10 contacts that are returned with this query. So like this you can find occurrence of a specific client by their company name or their specific title. Okay, so this was the SOQL or Salesforce Object SOSL, Salesforce Object Search Language Query. So that's SOSL for you. So when you are doing the find query, you are doing the SOSL query.